It's been on there for like 5 minutes. It probably knows I'm a little bit scared of them.
Really?
Well, I don't like things flying at me.
Oh, well, they love you.
Float like a butterfly.
Yeah.
That's how I'm trying to be up the rock. I'm Shakespeare. I'm from Southern California and I'm 23 years old. So I was an English major in college. I went to UC Santa Barbara, and since then I've been trying to write like a fantasy book, which it's off and on, but it's been a fun like method of escape, I guess. And I love reading and just all things literature related. So when I went to college, my aim was like to get out of my shell. I was terrified because I'm very introverted by nature, so I was like, I don't know if I'll like make friends or that kind of thing. And it was like the best time of my life. I met one of my best friends there in like the first few days, and we bonded over like how we couldn't make eye contact really well. I get to a point where I'm so anxious about this, and then as soon as I get to the thing that I was anxious about, I feel very vulnerable when I'm doing things in front of people, so I feel like that anxiety overdrives that, so then I'm like, oh, I have to do this, which works out well in the end.
Get yourself in a partner. Say, hey, I want a blade. Do you want to climb and come see me? And I'm going to get you set up. Same thing for Goomba. Okay, we got two together.
And then we also ended up just doing like 2 hands on the brake and kind of just pulling the rope free. I think you've belayed before, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, totally. Yep.
I'm Sky. I'm 29 and I'm living in New York City. I grew up in Kenya and we lived on the top of a hill. And I would twirl around, look at the sky, and the sky was my favorite thing. And always has been, but it feels more like I've learned to be kind of more present with myself physically since the diagnosis. I really liked the idea of leaning into that. It connects me to who I was before, but it's also super relevant to how I want to kind of be in the present now.
I was diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer last year. I was in the shower one day and I just felt like my left boob felt heavier than, it just felt weird. And then I felt a little lump, but I didn't really think anything of it because at the time I was 22, so cancer wasn't really in my head. So I was like, oh, it's probably nothing. So I saw a PA at a sleep health study clinic, which is the only place I could get an appointment with my insurance. So she felt it and she could feel it, but she was like, oh, it's, at your age, it's just hormones, it'll change with your period cycle. She's like, just keep an eye on it. I didn't do anything about it. It was just not on my mind. Well spoken.
That's like a real thing.
Journey.
Yep.
Yeah.
What? Really?
So I went back to the same lady and she was like, well, obviously you're worried about it, so we can get it checked. It was around 5 centimeters, so they're like, we need to biopsy this as soon as possible. It was in both breasts and the liver, which made it stage 4. So yeah, then it was just a whirlwind. But I'm doing okay now. I'm stable, which is good. Aiming for no evidence of disease, but we'll see when I get there.
It was right at the beginning of the pandemic, so we were all at home. And I felt pain in my leg, the inner thigh, and I thought that I had done some kind of online video workout wrong. It didn't really go away, so then I got a physical therapist, and I was diagnosed with synovial sarcoma, which is a really rare kind of soft tissue cancer. I had to have chemotherapy for 4 months, then a huge surgery. My mind just did not go there. I think one of the things that immediately struck me, even after I was just first diagnosed, was that social identity aspect of who you are as a person who's been diagnosed or a survivor or all of these other words that are used, and these kind of victory hero stories of getting through it and then being a superstar afterwards. I hated that concept. I was like, I don't want to be in this box. And especially that idea of afterwards does not resonate ever once you've had it. It's this is not an over thing. It makes me feel like I should be inspirational.
Again.
Oh.
Like the timing.
Guys, she was just giving such a great quote.
I'm sorry, I leaned back and there was a hand on my booty.
I just reached there right as you leaned back.
All right, everyone shush for a second. Sky wants to talk to me.
Also, anything I do now is inspirational. So I'm like, that's kind of not very motivating, but also like it really is a pressure. And I already have that kind of internal dialogue of like, I should be back to work, doing all these things, applying for this stuff. And I would be. And it's hard to get out of that circle when the world in general is like, oh, this is how the storyline should go. This is what you're probably experiencing. This is what you're probably focusing on. It's much easier to hide anything that's not positive or to tell the story only afterwards, not when you're in it.
When I got diagnosed with cancer, I didn't know I was stage 4 at first. Somewhere in the middle, I was like looking for places to kind of connect with like other people in the cancer community. When I applied for this, I was like, well, I'm not really athletic at all or into nature, but I'll give it a shot just for like the experience at the lodge and to get to know people. But yeah, it's just a whole like being thrown in the deep end, which is like all of my life, so.
My dad grew up rock climbing in Tennessee. He would take us out in the backyard and along the cliffs he climbed. So I learned there. At first I was really resistant to hanging out or connecting at all with anyone else who had been diagnosed. And I was like, wow, I am nervous about this. And I'm not nervous about rock climbing like before. Like, I love rock climbing. It's because of all of the emotions about this. I can't just go up the wall like I used to. Obviously it's not just the physical act of climbing. It's just kind of like who I was before. All the different things.
Can you keep it slightly less slack?
Yes. Or
Just, I mean, a little looser, basically.
more slack.
More slack.
Yeah.
Did you try any of them yet?
Not yet. I think I'll maybe go after Big Mo on this
I
one.
think the blue one is one of the most approachable.
Yeah. So when I would tell people I'm coming on this rock climbing trip, they're like, do you rock climb? And I'm like, no. I have not ever rock climbed. I was more afraid of that we'd have to belay people, but that was optional. I'm too scared to belay because I don't want to be responsible for someone else, just myself. I was not expecting to be able to do much on the wall or like pull myself up at all. Most of my like childhood, I really wanted to be a spy when I grew up, which is very impractical, but it's gotten me through a lot of like physical challenges thinking that like, oh, like a spy would do this. Because I was like looking up and I was like, if I was a spy, I'd have to scale this wall to like get up places.
Very nice.
Can I go to the right?
I would try to go straight up. It's the safest for you if you go straight up.
I went up expecting that I would go like halfway and be good with that.
Shakespeare!
Yeah.
Where do I go to? Just here? Or?
Oh no, you come all the way up here. And then
I just like kind of zoned out up there for a little bit and then just forced myself up.
Woohoo! Yeah, Shakespeare. Nice job.
I felt proud of myself for reaching the top. So it felt good to just like be so focused that I wasn't worrying about other things.
Losing the adductor muscles is significant to climbing. This leg doesn't have as much flexibility, so I cannot lift it. And I remember there was one point on the wall where I was like, this is the farthest the leg goes.
this is the limit of the stretch.
Yeah.
So I was going up that climb and realized I was just like really frustrated. Yeah, this is different and hard, and I have to figure this out to enjoy something that used to be easy. I started to be able to get into that zone again, breathing and feeling the rock and letting everything go, and it's just a really cool feeling to feel your muscles actually moving. It's special.
When you have breast cancer, like it feels like your body has like kind of betrayed you. So I just felt proud of it for once rather than like scornful against it. So that was a nice feeling.
Shakespeare, how do you feel?
Unintentional.
Scared? But good.
You did so great.
Thank you. My toes hurt.
Woo! Yeah, you guys have a great spot.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Can I hang out here for a little? Okay.
When you're on the rock, you can't be in your head at all. And it's like going for things that you think you are definitely gonna not make, which is not usually the case in life. So I just love the freedom of that.
Now there's trust, right? On the way up, it's like as long as I can just climb, I'm good. But this is like you're trusting your belayer, you're trusting the system. So there's a lot of trust here.
When I meet other people with cancer, like they've been through so much too. So it's nice to talk to people that get it.
It's just been incredibly grounding and validating to hang out with people who are going through highs, lows, but mostly just everything in between. I think there is a weird kind of pressure to be happy. The feeling like, is it okay to grieve anything if you're still alive? Yes, that's what I'm figuring out. Like, you're allowed to be frustrated about tiny things like traffic and how your shirt is the wrong color for how you feel today. Like, everybody is just another person figuring out whatever they're doing in life. I feel like I'm safer in my skin again. Just, where next?